Hey you guys, Renaissance Marie Austin here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I just want to say happy Granny Square Day. This is August 2022. So I am here at a Starbucks by the beach, and we got some good wind going on, and it is pretty crowded out here, but it is a beautiful day. So if you hear a lot of city noise, then it is what it is. I just want to talk a little bit about how I got my start in crochet and how the granny square was one of the most essential projects I learned. Taught by my grandmother, of course. So the story goes, I was 8 years old, and my brother and cousins and all of us were being wild children, like children can be at times. And my grandmother got all of us, sat us down, gave us some yarn, put some crochet hooks in our hands, and taught us how to make a crochet chain. So to this day now, we do all take some, role in crocheting or knitting. I would say that I took it and ran with it. And when I continued studying with her, I basically was given a mumble jumble tangle piece of ball of yarn. And my grandmother told me, she said, well, if you untangle this yarn, then I'll show you how to do the granny square. So that was my first lesson in patience. And she really showed me the method and how to, untangle yarn. And I really do believe that it is so important to have the ability and patience to untangle yarn. So after that, basically, I learned how to make the granny square. And I'm just gonna go through the granny square with you today with my favorite color yarn, olive. So I'm basically gonna go through and show you how my grandmother first taught me how to make a granny square. We're just gonna start with a slip knot. And this is the basics of the basics. I'm gonna start with a chain of 4. That's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And then we make a little loop by inserting the hook into the first chain. And we're just gonna join it. And this is the first way I learned how to join. So you can see we have our center there where my middle finger is. And then I'm gonna chain 3. That's 1, 2, and 3. And these 3 chains are gonna count as 1 double crochet. For this pattern it will. Then we're gonna go 12 inside. So there's so many different styles of granny squares, so many different ways to start your granny square. And I'm working with double crochet. And we're just gonna do 12 inside. So as I stated before, I'm in transition. I will only be, there's the dog having at it. I will only be in LA for about another month. And, it's all been quite a learning experience overall. It's my first time moving out of state, so I'm very, very excited. And I'm also excited about taking you guys along with me. So this is how my grandmother started me off with the granny square. So we're gonna count. I usually count by 2s. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Perfection. Then we're gonna join in the top 3rd chain of our beginning chain 3. 1085. Okay. So now that we have 12, it's going to be pretty easy for us to section this off in 3s. And that's going to make our granny square. So we're going to go ahead and chain 3. That's going to be 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to put 2 more to make 3 into the same space. But I'm going to do it on this side of the chain 3 from the previous round. And then we're going to start shaping our granny square. So we have to make a point. So like we have 3 here, and then we have to make a point. I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, and then I'm going to put 3 more inside of this space. I may have to do a slower version at some point. I still have so much video to edit, and I'm running out of space in my phone. Okay, so now we're going to separate out 3. So you see that's 1, 2, 3. Our next opening is going to be here, but I'm going to chain 1 to carry over, and then we're going to put 3. This is going to be 1 double crochet and 2 and 3. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to put 3 more. And pull out some more yarn here. So now we've shaped one side, and we have 2 corners here. Okay, this is your classic granny square. So I'm going to chain 1 again, and then I'm going to section out 3 more. So our next opening is going to be here. I'm going to work that all the way around. Calling out the numbers. Okay, so we have 3. Going to chain 1 and 2, and then we're going to put 3 more in the same space so that we can create another corner. Remember, a granny square is a square with 4 corners. Now we have 3 corners. We're going to chain 1 again, section out 3, and then your next opening is going to be here. So I'm going to go with 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, and we're going to put 3 more in the same space. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to chain 1, and then we can close it off in that top chain of the beginning chain 3 and just slip stitch. Look at how pretty that is. This is like a little small granny square, and so the thing is, you can easily stop here, or you can continue to grow your granny square. Okay, let me just show you a couple of things here. So my grandmother would chain 3 at this juncture, and then she would work in this open space. She would work in the open space and sort of like start in the middle. Okay, that's one way that you can do that. Sometimes you can, because I believe she showed me this way as well. So we have our slip stitch, and what you can do is you can slip stitch over to the corner. A lot of people like to slip stitch over to the corner because I don't know, I just think maybe it makes it slightly less noticeable where you're closing off. And then so that's 3 slip stitches like right in the center of the corner. Then you can chain 3, 2, and 3, and then you can start shaping your corner again. So you can do 3. like that, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and then do another 3 in this corner. So then what you'll end up doing is you'll begin filling in your spaces, and that's why it's good for me to show you this next round, because you're going to chain 1 just like you did before, but now you have your open space here, and this is singular. You're only going to do 3. I remember telling some of my students a while back, because they thought, oh, well, if you put 6 here, you know, which is considered 3 and 3, that's considered 6 double crochet in one space. They were thinking like, oh, you put 6 here, you put 6 here, and they were thinking that like you just put 6 all the way around, but you don't really want to do that. You want to only put 6 at your corners, and then on the straightaways you will put only 3. So now we're at another corner, and we're gonna go ahead and do 3, and then chain 2, and then chain 1, and then you're only putting 3 on the straightaways. Oh, I tell you, the coastal breeze feels so good. I'm over here blowing in the wind. Okay, you're gonna chain 1, work your corners, and put 3 more in the same space. Chain 1. And see how that looks? That looks good. And this is pretty much worsted yarn, and I'm using a size H hook. Size H is probably the size that I have used the most on almost any project ever in all of my 20 however many years of working my business, but then crocheting before that, maybe 30 years, I don't know. I have no idea. That's our last corner. Chain 1, we're gonna fill in this space. And chain 1, and then close it off right here, and slip stitch. So this is your granny square in 3 rounds. 1, 2, 3. An easy way to count is to count diagonally from the center. So you see the pattern that it makes. You can go from 1, 2, and 3. And just as you keep going, you can keep counting that way at your corners, and it lets you know how many rounds you have. You can keep track. And there's the top of your stitches. Rounds means you always have one front facing side and you turn it around to the back, and this is what the back looks like. The back is always kind of pretty and bumpy too. It just provides for a different texture. So happy Granny Square Day. Please do let me know how you did, okay? Next, I want to show you guys what I've been working on. Okay, I'm not gonna say what it is just yet, but I have been working on stacks and stacks of hexagons. I am gonna link below the pattern that I'm using for this, but I've made so many of them now that I know it by heart, and I've just been making more and more. The color that you saw me using, the olive, I've made tons of those, and I cannot wait to show you what these are going to be. So like I stated before, I am using this really beautiful it's like a multiplicity of plies. I want to make sure that I am not blurry, but yeah, you can see that. So you have all of these spun together, and there is stretch. Nice, good stretch. And this pattern is just absolutely beautiful. Really, really gorgeous pattern. So while these are not granny squares, most of your granny squares are going to end up in stacks like these, and you're going to make whatever, from blankets to footsies to hats to dresses to everything. So, you know, granny squares have really come a long way. I would say that when I'm teaching my students and I give them a little bit of history about the crochet, how you really saw the granny square bloom in like the 60s, 70s, especially with multiple colors. Not everyone liked it because crochet was really considered to be like the poor person's craft, while knitting was considered very more upper echelon and more classy. But today, you know, a lot of the granny squares are used on the runway, in top design houses, and it has been that way for a long time. And I'm so happy that crochet and knitting pretty much made a revival, I would say, like over the past 2 years, because once I got on TikTok, I saw a lot of young people crocheting and knitting, and I'm following a girl actually that I just love. She goes to different music festivals and takes pictures or like little short video clips of people that have crocheted their own like cute little shorts and halter tops, and I just call it like festival wear or hippie wear. And it is just so nice to see like young people who are like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23 crocheting, because when I first started teaching, that was like the most difficult group to get into a class. So it's awesome. I mean, if you guys saw who was that, Doja Cat, the other day when she was talking about shaving her head, oddly enough, like I ran across her short on YouTube like the same day that my brother shaved, like cut my hair all the way down. But she looks beautiful, but she's also wearing this really nice crochet top. We have Cardi B on a yacht with her crochet shorts and crochet halter tops. And another thing that I want to say about that is, I know Miu Miu, that's been kind of like been going around. You know, these design houses are charging thousands of dollars for these items, and you can go ahead and pay for that if you want, but we're all right here. We've all been here. We've all been underground crocheting and knitting, and that kind of crochet that you see on Cardi B is what my grandmother would call scrap crochet. We would have all these little balls of different colors that we didn't want to throw away, and we would just include them onto a scrap blanket or a scrap hat or a scrap scarf. And it's like, if you have a little bit of one color, you just add it onto the scarf as you go. You do another project, you have some stuff left over, you add it onto your scrap project. So it's interesting because you know, we have to do a lot of educating as well in terms of helping people to understand that, like, this is what it is for those who don't knit and for those who don't crochet, and those who are now seeing celebrities with crochet, and you know, they're seeing it in the stores. And Forever 21 has had crochet for a while, like really boho chic stuff. they don't really know, you know, so we have to sort of like school them in a sense and let them know what it is. So that is what it is. So again, happy Granny Square Day, August 15th, 2022. And let me know how you do with your granny squares. Let me know what you're working on. Signing off, Renaissance Marie Austin. Remember to share, subscribe, and comment, like, and I will see you in the next video. God bless and have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Bye-bye.